Hello everyone, I'm Yumu from Susan's family. Today, I'll teach you how to make the romantic floral lace top. This top is divided into the front piece, back piece, sleeves, joining and edging. Let's start with the front piece. From the bottom up, it includes the body, chest piece and shoulder yoke. Let's start with the body. We'll start with the foundation chain and work in rows. This will create patterns like this. For easier explanation, we'll refer to the pattern made by double crochets and chains as the lace pattern. The two columns in the middle will be called the pineapple pattern. Various stitches will be used, and they are marked on the chart. I won't go through them all here. Please watch me demonstrate the specific crochet method. Start with a foundation chain. Take out the corresponding yarn. The yarn for the swatch is random. For specific yarn, color schemes, and hook sizes, please refer to the detail page of our product and the paper pattern. Hold the yarn properly. Make a knot first. Then crochet chains. The number of chains for the swatch is random here, mainly to demonstrate the method. This completes the foundation chain. Next, move on to row 1. Follow the chart from right to left for this row. First, make 3 chains as the beginning chain for double crochet, which counts as 1 double crochet. Then make 1 chain as a transition in the 7th chain from the hook. Insert the hook into the top loop and make 1 double crochet. Continue with 1 chain. Skip 1 stitch below and work 1 double crochet. Follow this method and continue to refer to the chart for making double crochets and chains. Pay attention that the number of double crochets varies depending on the size. For the swatch, we are using the small size as an example. After completing 4 double crochets, chain 1. Skip 1 stitch and then work 3 double crochets. Then continue with the previous crochet technique, working 1 double crochet with a 1 stitch interval. Make 1 chain as a transition between them. After completing 4 double crochets, chain 1. Note that the stitch count varies depending on the size here. This won't be mentioned again later. This completes the initial lace pattern section. Next, work on the pineapple pattern section. Skip 1 stitch, and then work 1 DC 3-in-1. That is, work 3 double crochets into the same stitch. The DC 3-in-1 is complete. Continue with 3 chains. Skip 4 stitches below. Work 1 single crochet. Chain 5. Skip 4 stitches and work 1 single crochet. Chain 3. Continue to skip 4 stitches. In the same stitch, work 2 double crochets. One chain and 2 double crochets. We will consider the stitches worked into this stitch as pattern 1. Continue with 3 chains. Skip 4 stitches and work 1 single crochet. Chain 5. Skip 4 stitches. Work 1 single crochet. Chain 3. Skip 4 stitches. Work 1 DC 3 in 1. This completes the pineapple pattern section. Next, we'll work the middle lace pattern section. Work double crochets with 1 stitch interval, separated by 1 chain between each. Pay attention, the starting stitch pattern differs for different sizes. For the swatch of the small size, start with double crochets. When crocheting chains for other sizes, be mindful of the size to avoid mistakes. After completing this section, check the stitch count. The stitch count is smaller for this sample. It mainly demonstrates the method. Next, continue crocheting the pineapple pattern and lace pattern. The method is the same as before. You can refer to the chart to complete this row. After finishing the last double crochet, row 1 is complete. We will consider the side with the starting yarn tail on the left as the right side of the fabric piece, that is, the clearer texture side of row 1. Next, move on to row 2. Read the chart from left to right for this row. Start with 3 chains as the turning chain. Make 1 chain for transition. Turn the piece counterclockwise. The turning chain should correspond to the double crochet below. Then pick up double crochet stitches and correspondingly work double crochets. Make 1 chain in between for transition. Note that on the wrong side, the stitch is in the top left. When you reach the position of the chain space in front of the consecutive DCS, work 1 DC into the chain space. Continue crocheting. Pay attention to skipping the middle DC. In the next chain space, work 1 DC. Continue following the initial method. After completing the lace pattern section, on the stitch to the right of the DC 3 in 1, work 1 DC 3 in 1. Chain 2. In the left chain space, work 1 SC. In the next chain space, work 7 double crochets. In the left chain space, work 1 SC. Chain 2. In the chain space of pattern 1, work pattern 1 correspondingly. Continue crocheting stitches symmetrical to the right section. Pay attention to the ending DC 3 in 1. Work it into the leftmost stitch of the DC 3 in 1 from the previous row. For the following lace pattern section, continue picking up and working DCS into the DC stitches. Make 1 chain in between for transition. After completing, continue to refer to the chart to finish this row. Work the last DC into the beginning chain. The left chain is a transition chain. This stitch is the top chain of the beginning chain. Pick up the 2 strands of the chain and crochet. Row 2 is completed. Move on to row 3. Start with 3 chains as the turning chain. Make 1 chain for transition. Turn your work. Continue to follow the chart and crochet double crochets and chains. Pay attention to working the double crochet into the middle chain space. After completing the lace pattern section, take a look at the corresponding position, switch from a chain to a DC, which forms the pattern like this. For the subsequent lace pattern sections, all are worked in this manner of corresponding upper and lower DC stitches. Make 1 chain in between for transition. At the pattern position, switch the corresponding chain to a DC. This creates the pattern effect. When crocheting, pay attention to following the chart. Continue crocheting the pineapple pattern section. Start with a DC 3 in 1. Note that all are worked on the edge double crochet. On the consecutive DCs below, correspondingly work double crochets. Make 1 chain in between for transition. Work pattern 1 correspondingly on the corresponding pattern 1. Then crochet stitches symmetrical to the right section. After completing, reach the middle lace pattern section. This row does not have a pattern, simply crochet double crochets and chains as usual. Continue crocheting according to the chart. Work the last DC into the beginning chain. You can also find the third chain from the bottom up to crochet. Row 3 is now completed. Continue with row 4. Start with 3 chains as the turning chain. Chain 1 as a transition. Turn your work. The edge lace pattern section does not have a pattern. Simply crochet double crochets and chains as usual. For the pineapple pattern section, start with a DC 3 in 1. Chain 1. Make a single crochet into each left chain space. Chain 4 as a transition between them. After completing, make 1 chain. Correspondingly work pattern 1. Then, in the left chain space, work a DC 3 bobble. Start with 3 incomplete double crochets. Yarn over. Insert your hook, and draw the yarn through. Yarn over again, and draw through the first 2 loops. The first stitch is complete. Continue with the second stitch. Yarn over, insert your hook, and draw the yarn through. Yarn over again, and draw through the first 2 loops. The second stitch is complete. Make another stitch. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops once. The DC 3 bobble is now complete. We will refer to this as a bobble stitch from now on. Continue with 3 chains. Skip 1 chain space. In the next chain space, make 1 bobble stitch. Start with 3 incomplete double crochets. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops once. The bobble stitch is complete. Continue with 3 chains. In the left chain space, make another bobble stitch. Chain 3. In the second chain space on the left, make 1 more bobble stitch. Then, in the edge stitch, work a DC 3 in 1. Continue to finish this row according to the chart. Row 4 is complete. Now you can measure the dimensions of the fabric piece. Compare it with the measurements provided in the chart. If there's a significant difference, you need to adjust your tension and recrochet. This ensures the finished product has the correct dimensions. For the following rows of the body, continue working in rows according to the chart. The lace patterns on both sides should be staggered. This creates the desired effect. For the middle lace pattern, follow the method used for crocheting the side patterns. Adjust the corresponding chains as needed. Use consecutive double crochets to form an irregular pattern. For the pineapple pattern positions on both sides, crochet the pattern symmetrically. On both edges, work a DC3 in 1 into the first stitch. In the middle, correspondingly crochet pattern 1. For the section with bobble stitches, repeat every 4 rows. The other section repeats every 8 rows. After the 4th row, correspondingly crochet chains and single crochets. After completing, in the next row, work 2 double crochets into the middle chain space. Make 5 chains in between as a transition. Then, repeat the crochet method from rows 2 to 9 and continue crocheting downwards. You can refer to the chart and follow the previous demonstration to finish the body section. Next, continue crocheting the chest piece from the body. You need to decrease stitches on both sides. Then crochet evenly without increasing or decreasing. This section uses several new stitches, and they are marked on the chart. I won't list them one by one here. Next, I'll demonstrate the crocheting method, using a small size as an example. Start with row 1. Here, I'll use a swatch for the demonstration. Begin by carrying the yarn across. Pull up the loop. Pass the yarn ball or fabric through the loop. Pull tight. This turns the loop into a single strand. Then turn the fabric over. Place the yarn tail on the right side. For different sizes, this row is crocheted on different sides. The method of carrying the yarn is the same. Refer to the chart to find the joining position. The swatch has fewer rows. The stitch pattern is not for reference, mainly to demonstrate the method. Pull the yarn through. Make sure the carried yarn lies flat against the fabric. This completes the carrying of the yarn. Then start with 3 chains as the turning chain. On the left side, work 1 DC2 tog. First, in this stitch and chain space, work 1 incomplete double crochet in each. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops once. The DC2 tog is now complete. The V shape on the upper right is its stitch. Continue to follow the chart to finish this row. The stitch patterns in the swatch are random. The main focus is to demonstrate the decrease method. After completing the last double crochet, work a 2 DCT RPQ. First, insert your hook into these 2 insertion points and work 2 incomplete double crochets correspondingly. Then, in the next insertion point, work 1 incomplete treble crochet, yarn over twice, insert your hook, draw the yarn through, yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. Repeat this 2 times. And the incomplete treble crochet is completed. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops. The 2DCT RPQ is done. Leave the following positions unworked. Row 1 is now completed. Move on to row 2. Turn your work and work 1 slip stitch in the second stitch on the left. Here, you can slightly enlarge the loop before crocheting. The oval-shaped slip stitch doesn't need to be tightened. Then, start with 3 chains. On the left side, work 1 DC2 tog. First, work 2 incomplete double crochets. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops. The DC2 tog is now complete. Continue crocheting according to the chart. At the end, work a 2 DCT RPQ. Start by working 2 incomplete double crochets correspondingly. Pay attention to the position and don't crochet incorrectly. Then work 1 incomplete treble crochet, yarn over twice. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through, yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. Repeat this 2 times. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops once. The 2 DCT RPQ is now complete. Do not crochet the remaining stitch at the end. Row 2 is now complete. Continue to work row 3, according the pattern. Pay attention to the insertion point for the last stitch. Refer to the chart and insert the hook into the correct stitch. No crocheting is needed on the edge beginning chains. Start row 4 with 2 chains as a beginning chain. Then crochet the corresponding stitch pattern. You should follow the chart to complete rows 3 to 5. Now I will demonstrate row 6. Start with 2 chains as a beginning chain. Turn your work. Work a DC2 in 1 in the left stitch, which means working 2 double crochets in the same stitch. Be careful not to crochet into the edge stitch. The DC2 in 1 is now completed. Continue crocheting according to the chart. The stitch pattern in this swatch is random here. After completing the final chains, work 1 double crochet in the second to last stitch. Then in the same insertion point and the last stitch, work 1 DC2 tog. Row 6 is now completed. Continue working in rows. In row 16, you will encounter a new stitch pattern. Here, I will demonstrate using the swatch. Chain 1 to start. Turn your work. Refer to the chart while crocheting. For the ending, work a peak stitch. First, work 1 incomplete double crochet in the same chain space. Then, work 1 incomplete half double crochet in the beginning chain. Yarn over. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through. The incomplete half double crochet is now done. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops. The peak stitch is now complete. Row 16 is now completed. Continue working in rows. Keep crocheting until you finish the corresponding row numbers for the chest piece. For other sizes, refer to the respective pattern charts and crochet accordingly. Any stitch techniques you encounter have been demonstrated before? Please refer to those previous demonstrations. Follow the chart to complete the chest piece. This concludes the explanation of the chest piece. Finally, we will learn how to crochet the shoulder yoke. It is divided into left and right shoulder yoke. Note that the left and right here refer to the left and right when wearing the garment. Start by crocheting one side of the shoulder yoke using the ending yarn from the chest piece. Then, continue to crochet the other side of the shoulder yoke. The starting point for crocheting the shoulder yokes varies depending on the size. The method is similar. The new stitches used are HDC 3 puff and half double crochet. Please watch me demonstrate the specific crocheting method. Before starting, refer to the chart. Locate the position that corresponds to the part of the shoulder yoke you need to crochet. Mark this position with a stitch marker. If you don't have a stitch marker, you can use a safety pin or paper clip as a substitute. In the swatch, the middle pattern section has fewer stitches. The placement of the stitch markers is random. Please pay attention to your actual project. Next, I will demonstrate the crocheting method using the swatch. Start with row 1 of the left shoulder yoke. Follow the chart and crochet the corresponding stitch pattern. In this swatch, the stitch pattern is random. Finish crocheting up to the stitch marker position. Row 1 is now complete. Leave the remaining part unworked. Move on to row 2. If the starting position for the next row is far away, you can choose to carry the yarn across. Then continue crocheting. The carrying yarn technique is identical to the one used under the arm. You can refer to the chart to complete it. Continue following the chart for crocheting in rows. For the smaller size, you will encounter a new stitch half double crochet on row 9. Here, I will demonstrate the method using the swatch. The half double crochet is now complete. Continue referring to the chart and crochet downwards. For positions requiring carrying the yarn across, follow the previous carrying yarn method. Some sizes will also encounter a new stitch, HDC 3 puff. Here, I will demonstrate the method using the swatch. First, work 3 incomplete half double crochets in the corresponding position. For this swatch, the position is random. After completing them, yarn over and draw through all loops once. The HDC 3 puff stitch is now complete. Once everything is finished, you need to cut the yarn. Secure it with one chain. Leave a 5 cm tail and then cut. Pull tight. After cutting the yarn, weave in the yarn tail on the wrong side following the texture. You can work a few extra stitches to secure it well. Trim off any excess yarn tail. Follow the same method to weave in the remaining yarn tails. Move on to crochet the right shoulder yoke. Place the already crocheted shoulder yoke on the right side. Join the yarn at the other stitch marker position. Here, you can make a knot to secure the yarn. Draw up the loop. Adjust it slightly. Complete the yarn join, then refer to the chart and work in rows. When you need to carry the yarn across, do so at the appropriate positions. For closer positions, you can work slip stitches for transition. For the insertion points of decreased stitches at the edges, just refer to the chart to crochet. Finally, cut the yarn. Complete this part by yourself. Once everything is completed, you will be able to see the result. This forms a sloping shoulder. The neckline in the middle forms this curve. That concludes the explanation of the front piece. Next, let's learn about the back piece. We will start with the foundation chain. Work in rows. It also consists of the body, chest piece, and shoulder yoke. The overall crochet method is similar to the lace pattern on the edges of the front piece. This creates this pattern. Just refer to the pattern and crochet. For the chest piece, you also need to carry the yarn across at the start, then decrease on both sides. On the last row, change the stitch technique on both sides to form the sloping shoulder. Then crochet the left and right shoulder yoke separately. The method is similar to that of the front piece shoulder yoke. Finally, fasten off the yarn. Complete this part by yourself. That concludes the explanation of the back piece. Next, let's learn about the sleeves. The sleeve is divided into the sleeve body and the sleeve cap. For the sleeve body, start with a foundation chain and work in rows. The crochet method is identical to that of the back body section. After completing it, move on to the sleeve cap. You need to carry the yarn across at first, then decrease on both sides. The method is similar to the decrease part used in the front chest piece. All the stitches have been demonstrated before. Just refer to the chart and complete it. That concludes the explanation of the sleeve. After completing the front and back pieces as well as the sleeves, then join all the parts together. Start by joining the shoulders of the front and back pieces. Here, you need to have the wrong sides facing out. Insert your hook into the sloping shoulder parts of both the front and back pieces from the wrong side. Work single crochets to join them. Between each 2 single crochets, make 1 chain for transition. The specific number of transition chains can also be adjusted according to the actual situation. For the specific joining method, please refer to the demonstration in the following video. Taking the right front piece as an example, note that the left and right front pieces refer to the actual left and right when worn. Place the right front piece and the back piece with the right sides facing each other, wrong sides facing out. You can start joining from either side. Align and overlap the shoulders. This swatch is the back piece, and this is the right front piece. We start from the edge here and continue joining until this double crochet position. For the back piece, this is the double crochet position. Insert the hook into a few strands at the edges of both fabric pieces. Join the yarn. Chain 1. Work 1 single crochet at the joining point. Then work 2 or 3 chains. Here, I'm making 3 chains. Leave a small interval. Insert the hook into a few strands at the edge of the fabric pieces again. Continue with 1 single crochet. This distance is roughly the same as the length of the chains. Ensure the fabric piece doesn't shrink after completing it. And when you encounter the carried yarn, wrap the carried yarn into the stitches. The joining process involves alternately crocheting 1 single crochet and 2 or 3 chains. Complete this edge in this manner. After completing, fasten off the yarn. Next, join the side seams of the front and back body pieces. Here, on the right side, pick up the corresponding positions on the edges and join with a slip stitch. In between, work 1 chain as a transition to connect. For the specific joining method, you can refer to the demonstration in the following video. Here, I'll use the swatch to demonstrate the row-to-row joining method with the right side facing out. Align the positions that need to be joined. You can start joining from the side where you cast on, or from the end side. First, on the rightmost row of the front piece, join the yarn at the edge position. If this is the cast-on position, pick up the yarn at the insertion point to join. If it's the ending position, pick up the top of the turning chain, or stitch to join the yarn. Then work a chain for transition. The number of chains here depends on the pattern. You can also adjust according to your preference. The more chains you make, the wider the joining area will be. For this swatch, work 1 chain. Then slip stitch at the corresponding position, on the edge of the back piece. Don't pull tight. You can also adjust the stitch technique according to your preference. For example, you could use single crochets instead. In this sample, slip stitches are used throughout. The swatch entirely uses slip stitches for joining. Continue crocheting chains. Go back to the front piece. Pick up a suitable position, which is where you can reach, after completing the chains. If you make more chains, the joining interval can be slightly larger. For this swatch, pick up 1 stitch from the edge of this row for joining. Continue with chains. Then slip stitch at the corresponding position on the back piece. Continue joining using this method. Pay attention and adjust the joining positions based on the actual situation, ensuring the pieces join evenly and lie flat. Don't forget to join the edge position at the end. Making sure the side edges of the pieces correspond. Finally, fasten off the yarn and weave in the ends. Complete this step by yourself. That concludes the explanation of row-to-row joining. Next, join the side seams of the sleeve body. Use the same method as for joining the side seams of the front and back pieces. You can start the joining from the beginning chain. Don't cut the yarn after completing this step. Match the joining position with the underarm joining positions of the front and back pieces. Align the middle of the sleeve cap with the shoulder joining positions of the front and back pieces. Secure multiple points in the middle for stability. This ensures even joining on both sides. Join the sleeve cap to the armhole positions of the front and back pieces. Use the same method as for joining the side seams of the sleeve body. Insert the hook along the edges on both sides. Adjust the insertion points based on the actual situation as needed. Ensure the fabric pieces align evenly and the texture looks nice. You can now complete this step. That concludes the explanation of joining methods. Next, let's learn how to crochet the edging. It includes the hem, the collar, and the cuff. The hem is crocheted in rounds starting from the foundation chain of the front and back pieces. The new stitch used here is the CH3 picket. Please watch me demonstrate the specific crochet method. Here, I'll demonstrate using a swatch. Place the foundation chain of the front piece facing up. Join the yarn at the insertion point of the last double crochet, on the right side of row 1. This is the joining position in the middle. Make one chain as the beginning chain of the single crochet. It does not count as one stitch. Work one single crochet in the same position. Weave in the ends as you go. Then, pick up the chain spaces and insertion points to work single crochets correspondingly. When you encounter larger chain spaces, work the same number of single crochets as there are chains. Pay attention that after working a certain number of stitches, you need to skip one insertion point. Make sure not to crochet incorrectly. Do not crochet into the joining chain. Continue picking up the edge and working in the corresponding positions. After completing, check the stitch count. Finally, finish with a slip stitch in the first single crochet. Pull tight this slip stitch. Round 1 is now completed. Move on to round 2. Chain 3 to start. Chain 1 for transition. Skip one stitch and work a double crochet in the next stitch. Continue skipping one stitch and working a double crochet, chain 1 for transition between them. Complete this round by yourself. Finally, finish with a slip stitch in the top of the beginning chain. Round 2 is now completed. Continue with round 3. Chain 1 to start. Work one single crochet in the left chain space. Then, in the second chain space on the left, work 4 double crochets, and work one chain on each side of the double crochet. Skip one chain space below. Work one single crochet in the next chain space. We will consider the first single crochet and the following chains and double crochets as one group. Continue working this group pattern to complete the round. Note that all stitches should be worked in the chain spaces. Finally, finish with a slip stitch in the starting single crochet. Round 3 is complete. Finally, work round 4. Chain 1 to start. Work one single crochet in the left chain space. Work one single crochet on the double crochet. Work one CH3 picot. First, chain 3. Then pick up the front loop of the single crochet below. That is, the strand closest to you, and the strand below it. Work one slip stitch. Slightly tighten. The CH3 picot is now completed. We will refer to this as the picot stitch from now on. Continue picking up chain spaces and corresponding stitches to work 2 single crochets. Then one picot stitch. First, chain 3. Then pick up the front loop of the stitch below and the strand below. Work 1 slip stitch. The picket stitch is completed. Continue with 2 single crochets, then work 1 picket stitch. Repeat this 2 more times. After completing, work 1 single crochet in the left chain space. We will consider this cluster of stitches as one unit. Follow this unit to complete the round. Leave the position of the single crochet and worked. Finish with a slip stitch, and fasten off the yarn. Weave in the yarn tails. That concludes the explanation for crocheting the hem. Next, I will explain the crochet methods for the collar and cuffs. The collar is crocheted in rounds around the neckline formed by the front and back pieces. In the first round, join the yarn at the right shoulder seam, and work single crochets. Then, refer to the chart and pick up corresponding stitches to continue working single crochets. Work 1 single crochet at the other seam position as well. Finally, check the stitch count. Then continue crocheting in rounds for the remaining rounds. The crochet method corresponds to the rounds of the hem. The insertion point for the single crochets of the third round is slightly different. Some single crochets need to be inserted into the stitch positions of double crochets. You can refer to the chart for specifics. You can adjust the insertion points of the single crochets based on actual conditions. Ensure that the fabric lays flat and fits well after completion. Make sure the pattern is complete. The cuffs are crocheted in rounds starting from where you began the sleeve body. The method is similar to that of the hem. Pay attention to not crocheting at the joining points of the sleeve body. After completing the first round, remember to check the stitch count. You need to refer to the chart to check the position of the single crochets in the third round. Refer to the chart and complete it accordingly. This concludes the explanation for crocheting the collar and cuffs. Up to this point, the entire garment has been explained. If you have any questions during the process, don't hesitate to reach us via our website, Susan's Family, supporting your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.